Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Occupy Mars. Thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to talk about mining and what kinds of mining can we do in Occupy Mars. Well, for starters, we have the most basic of mining implements that we start out the game with. Generally, we're going to start out with our level 1 jackhammer, and as you can see, it's a basic mining tool. It's used for breaking up rocks into smaller nuggets that we can actually pick up and put into our backpack, and according to this, we can also drop them into the truck bed, which, as you know, right now, as of this build, which is the most recent one that came out, I believe it's 1.20.1, and the truck is not yet in the game yet, so we don't have access to it, although you can see it. If we go over here to our vehicles, the Mars truck, and let's see, it can haul mined rocks or the ATV quad on the flattened trunk. So actually, that's pretty good to know. It does say that it's faster than the Rover, which is always a good thing, but I think the quad probably be the fastest if you get the jet engine on there. But let's not get sidetracked. We're here for mining, so let's talk about mining. All right, so as you can see, we can back up out of here. Our mining implements, we have our jackhammer. So we start out with the basic jackhammer, and if it's a 1-for-1 exchange, then we have what, where's our second jackhammer? 2. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 points to get jackhammer 2, 5, 6 points to get jackhammer 3, and it looks like none of which you need the workstation for. So if you notice the shaded area here, these are things that you can only unlock with the advantage of the workstation, your workbench. So, and then we get your workbench here. So that's the jackhammer. It's pretty good at level 1. It's pretty slow, as you know, if you played any amount of time in this game. Level 1 is pretty slow, but subsequent upgrades to it doesn't really do much as far as advantages. It only speeds up your mining process, with level 3 being the fastest capability it has to mine rock. So with that being said, we can see we are in an area here, this big pile of rocks. We'll get to that in a second, but for right now, I've broken up some rocks here with the drill, and one of the things that you'll notice is when we start out here, we have our spectral detector, and this one's at level 3. So the spectral detector we get is able to tell us some more useful information about our rocks. And of course, as you know, its base function is to find water, which if you'll see over there, there's a water spout. We can drop a couple wells down there to get some water. But as of level 2, it gives you this information. Now, once you unlock level 2 for your spectral detector, the range on it is sort of dismal. You got to get pretty close to the rocks before you get a readout. And then once you unlock level 3, the distance becomes, I think it might be, you get another 50% range out of it, or it might be 100% range. So it'd be like twice the distance of the level 2 spectral detector. So what you see here for our minables is our main component. With this particular rock, it's aluminum, and then our secondary and tertiary items, or subcomponents as they're called, are going to be your silicon, iron, and calcium. When you pull out your mining drill, okay, you're only going to get the main component, because as you notice, like, all the subcomponents are going to be here in the slag. Let me turn my light on here because it's getting dark. So if we go ahead and drill, all right. So I'm gonna squat down.
75%.
I'm gonna squat down here because, as you notice, note the change in orientation of your jackhammer. While you're squatting, you're gonna get a better bite, and you're not gonna have to sit there and fiddle with trying to catch the jackhammer's end to your reticles so that they come together and you can get a bite into your rock. If you just squat down, you don't have to worry about none of that. You just aim with your reticle and you let it rip. Now, as you notice, I knocked a big old chunk out of this boulder, and once you do that, it releases it from the map grid. So this kind of just floating there in area. You see right now this is going to tip over. Currently in the game, you really don't have to worry about rocks falling on you and hurting you. So don't really trip too much on that. If you're drilling with your jackhammer, you can get right up in there and just drill to your heart's content, and you don't really have to worry too much about getting hurt. Although if you're standing up, or you get a little bit too crazy and you start walking up some of these segments in the rock and get too high, if you fall, you can hurt yourself, and you don't want to do that. So we can see, if we're drilling in here, you got your node right here, which is the ore you can break down. That's going to give you your nugget. All right, so this one is your aluminum. And when you're early in the game, you kind of really don't have much of a choice but to drill all that down to get to your nuggets, because in order to get some of these bigger pieces like this node right here, once you break it free, you'll have the advantage of the rover to pick it up and throw it in the tipper, and then you dump it in your rock crusher, whether it be the small one or the little one, and you get your ore out of it, and then you can build your materials. So, like, getting this at this base level, that's a lot of waste. So you're only going to get maybe like 5%, maybe 10% of the actual amount of ore that's in this rock as a whole. So you're kind of missing out. But the jackhammer it's effective, but it's slow and it's very wasteful as far as efficiency goes. So that brings me to my second method here, and that is, once you're able to get your rover, and we'll take a look at at what point we get that. It is, I think it's materials, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, crusher, no, it's going to be in mechanics. Yep. Okay, so first you got to unlock your ATV, and you come all the way down here to get your controller, and then you can bypass the controller and come all the way up to your science bench and unlock that. And then once you get your blueprint for your rover, you can come here, make your bench, and then unlock your rover. So that is a little bit of grinding and wandering, because this one right here, to get this, I think you need the blueprint. Yeah, you need a blueprint for this. So you get the controller with the blueprint, and you have to unlock your ATV and your small accumulator upgrade in order to progress further down the tech tree to get to your rover. And once you get that, it by default comes with your grabber and your tipper. So you can break up the rocks with your jackhammer, or another method I will discuss here shortly, and gather up your resources. So once you get your grabber, the next thing you want to try and get to is your drill, and that comes pretty quick. I mean, once you get enough points, you unlock your drill right away, and then that gives you the ability to drill your minables. So once we get in here,
external.
One of the things you'll note is once you unlock it, you'll have your 3 bits here, and once you unlock your drill, that gives you the ability to drill your rocks. And you see the reticle down there, it's red, and you stick it on a rock and you drill it down. And I'll show you real quick here. You just pull up alongside your target right there, and your drill will reach out pretty far, and you can go pretty high with it. But again, if you'll notice, when you're breaking up all this rock, you see, look at all that waste. You're losing out on a lot of ore by breaking up your rocks in this manner. But there is another way, and let's talk about the other way. So now let's go ahead and back this up a little bit. So we will put this away. And we will discuss the final way to mine. Now, as you notice, as you are looting your bases, you're going to come across this item right here, the solid rocket fuel explosives. Now, the minute you are able to print your detonator, when you pick these up, you can actually use these to mine with. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. And we got our detonator here. You see, you hit your left mouse button, and you see he's going to pull that trigger. So with the right button, once you find a suitable rock you want to mine, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to come down here, and now you can stand up, you can squat if you want to try and get a better angle on it. But what you're going to do is you're going to hit your right mouse button, and you're going to throw that canister out there. And you can see he's right there. And that target is going to let you know how far away you are. Now, my recommendation is, I don't know what the minimum blast radius is, but I know it's not 13. It's definitely deadly at 13 meters. So when I do it, I come out to at least 20 meters. And once you're ready, you hit your left mouse button. And it'll blow that rock and fragment it. Now, if the rock is too tall, it's not going to catch these upper ones. As you can see, they're still connected to each other. So you can whittle this bottom area down with your rover and pick out all these slag parts. Now, with the slag parts, this is where all your secondary ores are going to be located, and they can be kind of significant. So mining in this way is really going to allow you to maximize your ore gathering for making your components and constructibles. So it's definitely advantageous in a mining sense to collect those canisters and really print your detonator as quickly as you can. So once you got all that done, you can come in here to your rover.
Oxygen source external.
All right, let's go ahead and turn on some of these lights. What's my okay? We're gonna blast the whole area since I got plenty of juice and my base is just right behind me. So now we got all our lights on, and it's like it's bright. So we're gonna pull right up next to here. All right. So now, once you got your rock all busted up with your blast charge, you just come over here and you can pick this stuff up. Alright, and when you pick it up, you don't have to worry about it. They'll clip through each other, you know, and you can even, if you want, it'll even clip through the ground. Although, a word of advice, don't release it if it's here, because if you do, it will, as you can see, it'll just fall right through the map and you'll lose it. So try not to do that. But you get your slag and you stick it right down in there, and it'll pass right through the bucket. So if it's too big, what you do is you just stick it all the way down here and then let it go, and it'll transfer into the tipper. So one of the things, if you want, you can see that the camera is going to follow that armature no matter where you go. But if you hold down your middle mouse button, you can release the camera from the armature, and then you can move the armature independently from the camera. And even though the camera system in itself right now is a little bit clunky, it can be useful sometimes, especially if you get a rock that's kind of at an odd angle and you want to see where your tip, where your claw is at, so you can kind of find where that reticle turns green and you can pick it up. Now, once you're done with this view, all you have to do is tab out and then tab back in to your chair, and it'll return to its default setting. Another word on this: if you unlock the automatic grab for the crane, just simply make sure that whatever rock you want has a green reticle, and then just tap your E button and it'll automatically pick it up and dump it in the tipper. Even these really big ones, it'll get them in there, and as you see right there, it registers that it's been dropped inside the bucket. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not a really big deep dive. This is just an informational guide for those of you who are, you know, miners at heart.
Dehydration detected.
And like to just kick back and, you know, run some rocks, or maybe you just want a little bit more efficient way of grinding out your ores to get your bases built and, you know, move on with the game and try not to spend a whole lot of time worrying about mining and breaking up the rocks with your drill. It was a little bit more efficient way, and I hope you found this guide useful and informational. And if you did, drop a like, drop a subscribe, drop a comment, let me know how I did. And as always, stay living in the verse and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.